Happy June, ink drinkers! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Em, and today I'm going to share the books and movies I got into in May. Hi, thank you so much for joining me for the first of many sweaty summer videos. It gets hot in this room and the AC and fans are way too loud for me to run during these videos, so I'm going to glisten, I'm sure, throughout the summer. Just ignore it. It's all good. In May, I finished 4 books and started 2 that I am continuing to read. So let's dive into what I read. The first book that I finished was 5 Suns Over Somerset by Robert Weaver. I gave this 5 stars. It was in ebook version and I read it from April 19th to May 19th. It is 307 pages. I talked a lot about this in a recent reads video that I will link below if you'd like to know more, but it was an excellent read, as is the case with all of Robert Weaver's books. The second book that I finished was part of Zombiethon, and this is a free ebook that I found through some deal, some site. I couldn't tell you where I found it, but I definitely recommend this if you like a good zombie read with a twist. There were lots of twists in this. Lots of unique little aspects to this book. Rust-Colored Rain was by Otto Schaefer, new to me author, so that was exciting. I gave this book 4 stars. It is the first in a series, and I cannot recall the name of the series, but it is obviously zombie related. This was an ebook, and I read this from May 19th through the 26th. It's 238 pages. I had a lot of fun with this, especially with those elements that are quite different from your typical zombie reads. The one thing that kind of dropped it from a 5-star for me was kind of the relational drama. There's a couple featured in this book. They are the 2 main characters, and some of it felt just a little bit too dramatic for me. By the time it wrapped up, all that drama made sense, but I do have to say I wasn't looking for that kind of aspect to a story while reading a zombie book. Maybe had I read it at a different time and wanted some more of that, it would have been a 5-star read. I really enjoyed it. Love the creativity here. As a little side note, the family has been passing around the second cold of this spring/summer season. You may hear it in my voice, but if you hear coughing in the background, everyone's okay. These coughs just linger for the longest time. I don't know if anyone else deals with that, but it's quite annoying. The third book that I read and finished was A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Now, this was a book that I had read back in high school, really enjoyed. I enjoyed it again. It's probably one of my favorite Shakespeare stories, plays. I ended up giving it 4 stars. A Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo and Juliet hold a special place in my heart because they were favorites from high school into adulthood now. This was in ebook form. I read it from May 26th through the 27th. I think I mostly read it on the 27th. I started reading it on the 26th and probably started reading it too late or got sidetracked by the kids or something. But you could definitely read it in one day for sure. The last book that I finished in the month of May was actually a rollover from April. In April, I always participate in Old School April. And I started reading this with my kids as a read aloud, but they weren't that interested. I think it took a little too long to get to the point, to get to the action, and so they just kind of lost interest. And you know, reading aloud takes a lot more time, so it takes more time to get to that action. So they kind of lost interest. I set it aside, but then I was like, you know what? I can pick this up and finish it. The book is Creepover, The House Next Door. And this is about a family. There's a bunch of sisters, and their family is hosting a New Year's Eve party at their house. Well, they lived next door to a really creepy abandoned house, and the sisters were instructed not to let any of their friends go to this house. Stay home, stay in the basement. The adults are gonna hang out upstairs. You guys hang out downstairs and keep it safe, you know, keep it at home. And so, of course, they end up going to this house. There's a lot of strange things that go on in this house. There's some great lore here, fantastic backstory. It just did take quite a bit of time to get to that. There was a lot of circular struggle in the beginning, which is what really dropped my rating, because the girls seem to be having this struggle to keep these kids from talking about the house, wanting to go to the house and all that stuff. And so it just felt like we were running around in circles. That aspect was not as fun, but once the action started, it was pretty great and I enjoyed it. It actually did creep me out. There's a creepometer on the back from 1 to 5. This is at a 4 and it's sleep with the lights on. It definitely gave me the creeps. Certain parts of it gave me the creeps, and I can't talk about what did because it would spoil it, but if you're into some middle grade fiction, this is great. This whole series is a lot of fun so far. The kids and I received a good chunk of this series from our friend Elizabeth at Elizabeth Sagewood, and I think we've read, this might be the 3rd or 4th we've read. So far, I've really enjoyed them. They're a lot of fun. There's not a ton of depth to them, but it's a great starting point if your kids are interested in horror or just spooky books in general. I am still reading From Dead to Worse in the Sookie Stackhouse series. I really am not that far in. I pick it up, read a couple pages, and then get sidetracked. Sorry, I am so out of breath. My lungs need more air. I also have a current read that I started, I think, on the 31st of May, and I did not include this in my June possibilities. I did include A Midsummer Night's Dream in my June possibilities and ended up reading it early. But this book is something that has been sitting on my Kindle since like 2021 or whenever I first got it. It was published in 2021. And it is Welcome to the Funhouse, a horror anthology by Blood Rights Horror, which I do not believe exists anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know. But I think they shut things down. I do have a few more of those books, anthologies on my Kindle, so I will get to them. I do believe you could still get this book on Amazon as well. So it was edited by Kelly Brocklehurst and one of my favorites, Jamie Stewart. There are 12 stories in this, all related to the carnival theme. So that's a lot of fun. I thought it'd be a fun read for summer, and I always like to have something going on my Kindle. So that is all as far as the reads go. Let's dive into the movies. I'm skipping right over the shows because I'm basically watching the same old shows, and it gets a little bit boring talking about the same thing over and over again. As I said before, the family participates in Old School April every year, and it is a nostalgia-themed watch-a-thon, read-a-thon, activity-a-thon, and we enjoy the snot out of it. Well, apparently, I was not over the nostalgia when it came to my May watches. And so I watched quite a few movies with my kids. Okay, I didn't watch a ton of movies this month, but most of my watches were with my kids, and 5 out of my 6 watches were rewatches. So I either watched these with my adult kids or my younger kids. I didn't watch any of these alone. So let me go over the ones that are rewatches, and then we'll talk about the new to me watch. The first was Dirty Dancing. The second was Cool Runnings. The third was Edward Scissorhands. The fourth was D2 The Mighty Ducks. We watched the first one in April. And the fifth was one of my all-time favorites, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay, now on to the new to me watch. I'm not going to talk about those others because they're very familiar, old school. There's not much to say. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend them. They're a lot of fun. So the new to me watch was 1979's Zombie Flesh Eaters, aka Zombie 2, aka Zombie. Has several names. This was 91 minutes and it has a 3.6 star score on Letterboxd. I don't typically give star ratings to the movies I watch. I'll give them a heart every once in a while. I did enjoy this. I really love movies set in the 70s. There's like a grittiness to them. There's almost like an innocence in the way the people speak. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels so different than how people speak now. And I just like it. I feel like there's almost a more like a politeness or something to the way people spoke in movies back then. Even though you get a lot of, you get a lot of that. And of course there's like the blood and the horror. But there's just something that seems so innocent in the mix. Am I the only one that feels this way? Anyway, I just really love it. And of course I love the style from the 70s. It was a fun watch. So if you're not familiar with Zombie, I wrote down the little description that is on Letterboxd. I'm going to read it to you and then we will close out this video. We are going to eat you. After an abandoned boat sails into New York Harbor with a zombie aboard, a reporter teams up with the daughter of the boat's missing owner to investigate the island where he was last seen conducting research, the site of an alleged zombie outbreak. I really enjoyed it. It was a recommendation by one of the Zombiethon hosts, and I couldn't tell you who recommended it. I forget completely. It might have been Amy. Was it Amy? Or maybe it wasn't a host recommendation. You know, May seems so long ago, even though it's only the 3rd of June today. It's okay. Life goes on. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed my zombie read for Zombiethon. I want to thank Kat and all the co-hosts for putting on such a great event again. I didn't participate as much as I wanted to, but life has been hectic. I'm a homeschool mom. We've got 2 kids that are working hard to graduate this year. Friday is our last day of school, so May was kind of a hectic month, not gonna lie. And there's just so much going on within my personal life that I didn't get to everything I wanted to get to, but that's okay. We've got June. So if you are interested in seeing what I want to get into in June, I did put up a video, a June possibilities video, and you could check that out. Of course, things are subject to change, as usual, and they already have, because I'm reading something that was not on the list, but we're going to try to stick to the list as much as possible. I don't know why I make these lists. I do whatever I want. Thanks so much for putting up with my crackly, raspy voice and the probably billion edits I had to do because I coughed way too many times, and whatever background noise you may have heard and all that great stuff. I hope you guys had an awesome May and that you have an even better June. Please let me know what you got into in May. Did you read any 5-star reads? Did you watch any new fun movies? I'd love to hear. One movie I'd like to see soon, possibly in the theater, which is like a rarity for me, is The Backrooms, or Backrooms. So we shall see if I get to that. But I have no plans for movies, just gonna wing it. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out, and I hope you have a great June, an amazing summer. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and keep reading great books. Until next time, cheers.